Good morning, everybody. This is Sherry Lahane, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to Pear Deck. So this is not an extensive training about Pear Deck. It's an introduction to show you what Pear Deck is, what it can do, and if you would like more information, please reach out to me for a training. I'll schedule it, or you can investigate it yourself quite easily. So Pear Deck is an add-on to Google Slides. That means it provides more functionality to Google Slides. So to get started, you would go in and find your add-on here in the top menu. So you click on add-ons and you would go to Get Add-ons. A little box like this will pop up and you might have to do a search for Pear Deck up here, but as you can see, mine pops up already right here because I already have it. So you would do a search, Pear Deck would come up, you would click on it, and it will install. Now when you open Google Slides, which obviously, in case you don't know, you need to have a Google account, which if you have a Gmail account, you have a Google account. So here I have Google Slides opened. Now when I want to activate Pear Deck, I'm going to go right up in here to my top menu. I'm going to click on Add-ons. Right here it says Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, and I'm going to say Open Pear Deck add-on. And it opens right here. So what we have are slides that we are going to integrate into any slide deck that you're doing. So what I like about Pear Deck is that I think it's a wonderful way to increase engagement. Now I will say one more thing. Pear Deck is free. There are a couple of things that are not available in the free version, which I'll talk about as I go along. And if, however, you like the idea of Pear Deck and you kind of don't want to use it, I think you can also recreate the concepts around Pear Deck with any slide. So you don't really need Pear Deck to do it, but Pear Deck will save you a lot of time. Okay. So I'm going to start off with, first of all, I'm going to introduce the slides and then we'll show you how to start lessons. So right up here it says our template library. There's two ways to integrate slides. One is the templates that we're going to look at first, and the second one is this category right here that says text, choice, number, website, draw, and draggable. So let's start with the template library. I'm going to click on the thing. So on the template, first let me give you a tour. There's lesson builders, beginning, during, and end. I'm going to click on those in a minute. I'm going to scroll down and you can see there's learning development. There's slides about critical thinking, social emotional learning, and then there's some content areas down here. I really like some of these beginning lessons. So I'm going to imagine that I have an ESOL lessons going on. Or it could be language arts reading. So the topic is healthy living, healthy lifestyle. So I can click on the beginner of lesson and there's a bunch of templates here. So one that I might use if I was an ESL teacher is this one right here. So I'm going to just click on it. In a blank, I'm going to click and it's going to magically appear. It's taking a little bit longer today. Here it is. It's going to magically appear here in slide 3 for me. And it says, what do you wonder about today's topic? Now, I will say that I can click anything. So if I want to change this to what do you wonder about today's topic and ask a different question, I can just edit that. I can click where the images are. I can put in a different image. Now, it was created for K through 12, so some of the images kind of look like kids. And then down here, another thing that I like, I'm going to scroll down, is these little teaching tips. So it says, identifying and articulating questions we have is an important thinking skill. Gives students the opportunity to think broadly about today's topic and identify their own questions. Show their responses anonymously on the projector to discuss. So hold on, we're not going to be looking at the student view yet. Right now I'm just going to show you what some of the slides look at. So what happens is, it says right here, students write your response. So when students see this from the student view, they have a little box to type their response. So we'll come back to that. Okay, so imagine that we introduce that and students now write some questions in about today's topic. And then we'll go back and let's say during the lesson. Well, I could, for example, start a mind map. So now I could say, maybe here, instead of central idea, I might say healthy living. And then I'm going to ask them to write anything that comes to mind that they consider to be healthy. It might be, food, exercise, anything that comes to mind. It can be something they think in general or something that they do. So that's an idea, another example of a template. There's all kinds of templates to check out. We'll look at a couple more in just a minute. Okay, so now let's imagine that I want to add some content to this. So instead of going into the template library, I'm going to choose this one right here, which is website. Now this allows me to put in a website. So I'm going to grab the link to this video about healthy living, and I'm going to put it in here. I'm in the right spot. Wait a minute, hold on a minute. Oops. Let me just go back a minute. I need to put it in here. Okay. Okay, so the video will appear here when the student sees it. If you look down here, you can see that it's listed. Let me just go up a little bit. It's listed right here at the bottom. Students browse. So we're not in the slideshow view, but when we are, you'll see it. So then let's imagine that students watch a video, and then I might ask them a question. So I'm going to put in a choice question. So right here, this is a multiple choice. So let's just say that I got to ask a question here. So I'm going to add a slide right here, and I'm going to ask them the question. What ideas from the video might you incorporate into your life? And actually, I'm going to make that a text video. Okay, and then students will just write their response. I could have made it a multiple choice, and they could see different responses of other students if I decide to share them. Okay, so I'm just going to skip ahead for a minute, and I'm going to go back to the template library, and I'll go to the end of the lesson. And maybe I'll click on this one, and it says, what's something that you learned today? Can you rate list in your life? Okay, so that gives you a little bit of idea. I like the templates a lot. Once again, I can have multiple choice, would be this one. Number means that for example, math, the text box that they give for the student to put their answer in will only accept numbers. Now, in the free version, the draggable is not option. That's why it has a little trademark sign here, and you cannot add audio to the slides, but we'll talk about pricing in just a minute. Okay, now let's look at how you start the lesson. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to say Start Lesson. And this is going to be an instructor-paced lesson. The student-paced mode, which would be for asynchronous work, is also not available in the free version. So instructor-paced mode, I'm in, all right, Delta N. So there's different ways that you can share this. It's going to be loading, and now it says waiting for students. So I can just click here and give students a link, or they can go to this website, joinpd.com, and type in this code. So I'm going to give the students a link, and I'm actually going to put myself in as a student. Now I'm going to be able to toggle and back and forth between the student view and the teacher view. So the first thing, I'm going to put this over here. Now this is the student view that I'm sharing with you today, and you can turn this on or off, but the moment a student joins your Pear Deck class, we'll say, or session, they automatically get this. How are you feeling today? Or they can skip it. Now, as the teacher advances the slides, the student sees what the student is following. So I have to go to here and say Start Class. And now I'm going to toggle back and forth between student view and teacher view. Okay. So in the student view, the teacher view, I go like this, and then I can just advance the slides. Now notice that I'm in the teacher view right here. At the bottom it says no responses, and if I click here it's going to say show responses. So hold on just a minute. I'm going to show you that this is what the student sees, my little pop-up box. So what do you wonder about today's topic? And you can see here the student has a text box. And I'm going to say, what does healthy living mean? Okay, now that's the student view. Now in the teacher view, I'll just move this over. I'm going to say show responses, and look over here in the upper left-hand corner. There's only me right now, but if there was a list, this says list layout, I would see one student's response right under it. I would see the next student's response, etc. Or I can see it as a grid. Now, once again, and then I would see, one here, one here, one here, etc. So the teacher only sees the student responses, and she can also decide to highlight or share with the other students one of the student responses. But other than that, she doesn't. So she can see what everybody sees here. Now I'm going to go back to the bottom. Again, I'm in the teacher view, and I'm going to say hide response, and then I go back to my teacher view. So then I go to the next one, and it says start a mind map by drawing or typing anywhere. Now I'm going to go to the student view, and notice, let me make it a little bit bigger. Here's my student view. So these tools down here, any slide where the students have options to write or draw, whatever, they always look the same. So once they learn the tools, they're always the same. Okay, so whoops, I'm going to go here to the pencil. I'm going to grab a text box, and I'm going to say, let's see, I'll say fruits and vegetables. Now I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to show the response, and you can see my response right here. So this is looking at the teacher view. So here it is in the list. I can see the layout, and I would be able to see each student's grid separately. And there's a third option on this kind of a collaborative slide, which is called overlay. So when I click this one, I would see in one view all of the students' responses. Now they might be laying on top of each other, like fruits and vegetables. It could be someone writing in that same space. So that one's a little bit tricky. Okay, I'm going to stop it. So I think that you have the basic idea of Pear Deck. I've also opened up the three little things here, and I can say turn on student paced mode, which means that they can advance the slides at their own pace. They're not waiting for the teacher to, because I have a paid version. I can open the dashboard in a new device so that I have one device that I'm looking at like only student responses, and another device that I'm looking at only the teacher presentation mode, or a new window, etc. Okay, so that is it. I'll keep it open for just a minute. So once again, The slides have all of these little teacher tips down here. You can add audio to them. Let's do one more thing before we close this, and I'm going to go down to the template library and go down to the template library, and I'm going to show you a couple of slides that I really like. We'll just put them in for fun. One of these is consider different viewpoints. So you could think about putting students into breakout rooms, give them something to discuss, whatever it is, and they need to write a couple of ideas. This is my point of view, and this is another person's point of view. But that would get them talking to one another. They are things like I notice, I wonder, over here, consider what we know. It's kind of like a KWL, what I know, what I want to know, what I've learned, interpret, drawing conclusions, explaining things. So I feel like these slides are ready-made prompts to get students talking to one another. And I think that it's a great use of breakout rooms. Let's go down to now maybe ELA. So in ELA, you can see there's a Venn diagram, there's correct the sentence, you can put it in here, drag the dots to the nouns, understanding the reading. I'll just put that one in quickly. Topic sentence. So again, students are writing on their own slides, and then you can see what everyone has written. There's a story map. Computer's a little slow today. And a bunch more. So once again, this is Pear Deck. It's an add-on to Google Slides. Go into Get Add-ons, find it, say Install, and then you have to go back to Add-ons and open it. And when you do, it opens up on the right-hand side right here. Okay, and then you just add slides, and don't forget you can edit anything. You can take out some of these boxes, you can delete it, make them wider, and change images. You can change any of the images. So I hope that piques your interest a little bit. I think Pear Deck is a really neat tool to encourage engagement, and it's a time-saving tool for teachers. And please reach out to me if you'd like to get on a call with me. We can do a training that goes a little bit deeper. Thank you.